Good evening. This is Sonia Hadala here with a video podcast to address the issue of are boys in crisis in our schools? Some have said yes. They have pointed to studies and issues from girls surpassing boys in test scores to schools not teaching to boys' learning styles. Although these are valid issues, they are not new. And as we look closer at the studies, the issues go beyond learning styles and test scores. A Time magazine online article titled "Is the Boy Crisis Fictional?" by Jay Warner says that the discrepancy of girls doing better than boys isn't new. They have been outperforming boys for the last century. Childhood development experts would concur as to the fact that boys are more hands-on, kinesthetic learners, especially in their early years, and that they are later developers of verbal skills. However, when we look at the current state of boys, some studies are showing that they are performing better and scoring higher on tests than ever before, while others are showing that even with the improvement, girls are outperforming them. A publication by the education sector in an article titled "The Truth About Boys and Girls" by Sarah Mead states that, other than girls improving their performance, the issue of Hispanic males, black males, and those of low income is where the real trouble lies. For them, it's not a gender problem, but one of race and class. Mead states, the idea that women might actually surpass men in some areas, even as they remain behind in others, seems hard for many people to swallow. Thus, boys are routinely characterized as falling behind, even as they improve in absolute terms. She goes on to warn us that many experts have been guilty of jumping onto the boy crisis as a means to support their educational and cultural agendas. We need to remember that a lot of what we hear is based on hype rather than evidence. She warns us not to let these debates take our eyes off serious issues such as economic and racial academic issues. These are the children who need our help and attention. Let's take a look at the results. What are those studies saying? In an article by the Society Pages Sociological Lens titled "How Not to Talk About Gender in Education, Is the Boys' Crisis in Education a Reality?" by Marcus Girk, quote studies by Kimmel from 2010 that state the gender gap between college-age, middle-class white males and white females is rather small. 51% women and 49% men, but only 37% of black college students are male and 63% female, and 45% of Hispanic students are male, compared with 55% female. In other words, race and class arguably matter far more than gender when it comes to educational achievement, and it is simply misleading when commentators suggest that all boys are suffering in schools today. As Jay Warner in the Time magazine report points out, what did come to light in studies was the differences in those boys who performed equally as well as girls and those who didn't. Boys from lower income or working class families deal with ridicule if they devote the time and involvement it takes to make the grades. Boys from white-collar job families receive much more support from their fathers through the father being involved and the father being highly educated. These fathers value academic achievement and portray to their sons that it is a desirable mark for a man to have and to be successful in the economy. Warner sums it up that we need not pit boys against girls, but look at these real issues. To sum it up, I encourage and challenge those who are listening to follow the advisement of Claudia Buckman, an Ohio State sociologist who was quoted in Warner's article and advises, a rising tide of educational expectation will raise all boats. I say, let's get busy raising all boats.